Hello, my name's Victoria Seed, and I am coming to you from the Vesta Approach in Manchester. And today, the 10 at 11 session, which is a weekly 10-minute session about a topic related to addiction and family recovery, is all about pathways to family recovery. So this month is Recovery Month, and I think it's really important that these sessions are based around the topics and themes associated with recovery. So I help families affected by a loved one's drinking or drug use, and I also support individuals who are using substances as well. And I do this, I help the families by teaching really effective strategies to cope through my online one-to-one and group work programs, and I can help you too. Professionals, if you are watching, please share, join in, comment, ask any questions, and that goes for you as individuals and family members as well. If you want some family recovery tips, you can head straight over and download my 10 Ways to Family Recovery, which will be yours straight into your inbox at vestaapproach.co.uk/freebie. And it has quite a lot of the information in that I share in these lives and more, and links to useful organisations. So take a look at that. Okay, let's get going. So we're talking about pathways to family recovery. It's Recovery Month. It's an annual celebration of recovery, remembrance, change, collaboration. And this year's theme is recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, and every community. So last week's 10 at 11, in that session, I covered what is recovery. So head back over to that one and have a look at it, because we explored what recovery actually is and some of the definitions. And the thing that kind of came out of that for me is that recovery is individual and unique. So there's not only one direction that recovery can take. It can be moderation, it can be abstinence, it can be through what I have recently learned, spontaneous recovery, where somebody just decides to stop. And today I wanted to talk about some of the pathways for family members to recover, because there is not only one way. All right. And quite often people come to me for support saying, I need to get my loved one into rehab. And there's nothing wrong with rehabs. I work with rehabs. And yes, if we can get somebody into that treatment, it's great. But there are lots and lots of other things you can do. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So first of all, we've got a traditional kind of 12-step pathway of recovery. So for family members specifically, we have got Al-Anon, which supports families who have been affected by a loved one's drinking. All right. And what they're all about is finding solace with and support from others who have been affected by their relationship with the drinker. So some of these pathways that I'm talking to you about now are the free to access pathways to recovery. Okay. Just because something is free doesn't mean it's less effective than something else. But the difference really in the work that I do and some of the groups that we talk about here is that I kind of support my families to get to the place they want to be in as short a time frame as possible. And that doesn't mean that's when the whole family is recovered. That means that when we can see some significant changes when family members implement what I've taught. And the goal of that is to get a loved one to get the support they need and into treatment, which quite a lot of the time happens. Okay. So we've got 12 steps. We've also got Smart Recovery Friends and Family. And friends and family members of people who use drugs and alcohol are invited to spend time concentrating on their own goals, which their website states is an area that may have been neglected for some time. And Smart Recovery is a kind of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy based type treatment. So you're going to be learning again some strategies to cope there. And I highly recommend Smart Recovery as well. If you want that group support, if you want that peer support, go and check it out. We have got phenomenal charitable organisations, and I'm talking about the UK here because that is where I am. Check out what's available for you. We have got ADFAM, Alcohol, Drugs and the Family, which also has a forum that family members can access. to talk about what's going on for them and get some peer support there. We've got Scottish families affected by alcohol and drugs in Scotland. Brilliant. We've got the Family Support Network in Ireland. Check out these websites, even if you don't live in their locality, because the information and advice on those is fantastic. So if that's the only thing you do today from this, just go and check out AdFam, Scottish Families Affected by Alcohol and Drugs, and the Family Support Network Ireland. I am not going to forget about Drug Fam, who are an amazing charity. They have a fabulous helpline for family and friends who are affected by somebody else's addiction, where you can ring up, get some information and advice. Absolutely brilliant resource. Please go and check that out as well. And I can't remember now what time the helpline is open till, but I think it's about 8 or 9 o'clock, something like that. So it is, accessible in the evenings as well, which is really, really useful. We've got local drug and alcohol services. So every single locality should have local drug and alcohol treatment services. And, the drug strategy states that each of those drug and alcohol services should be providing support for affected family members as well. So there'll be a difference in what's provided there, but I would highly recommend that you contact your local service and ask them what family support they have, because again, they are free to access. Again, all of these are going to be group work support programs, because they're a cost-effective way of helping as many people as possible. And remember, a lot of these services are run through the public sector and voluntary sector charitable organisations. AdFam has had recently some funding to offer some one-to-one sessions as well, and some therapeutic sessions. So go and check it out, because you can get some support potentially for free. And so in terms of paid support, I'll talk to you about what I do, because that's what I know the most about. I help families affected by a loved one's problem, drug or alcohol use. I do use the word addiction because that's what people look for and search for online. But sometimes somebody may not be addicted but still causing a hell of a lot of problems for the friends and family. So I work with that as well. My work started in young people's services. So not a lot of those young people were addicted or dependent on substances, but they were in chaos, and the families were experiencing chaos as well. So I've done this work for 16 years. I'm a trained and qualified drug and alcohol practitioner. I offer a private and confidential service. I get people the help that they need quickly. There are no waiting lists. Every single client of mine gets a person-centered approach, and the service you get depends on their individual needs. So of course, the things that I teach will be, pretty common, but I tailor that to the individual clients, and that is what you get because you are paying privately, right? So you get that tailored service. And my goal is to get you and your family back on track. I teach strategies to cope. We look at solutions. I am not a counsellor, so you're not going to be coming and talking through your feelings around that. You're going to be getting mentoring, you're going to be getting guidance, you're going to be getting support. So I aim to get you solutions and reduce some of that chaos around you so you can start to live a better life. And the focus is on the family members. Because their family members come to me and they're like, get my loved one help, get my loved one help, get my loved one help, which is great. Everybody needs their support, but quite a lot of the time, nearly all the time actually, just by helping one family member make some changes to their approach with the person that's using substances, we see a massive impact. Think about it. Your loved one can go and get treatment for an hour a week or something and then implement it. But you're with your loved one day in, day out, or, you're seeing them regularly. So who is the best place to support your loved one through some of those changes? It's family members. It makes total sense. It's not easy work. It's difficult. And that's what I help with. We have got recovery coaches. So I said last week, I have been trained by the Recovery Coach Academy. They are phenomenal. And I'm going through some further training with them. you can get a recovery coach who will help and guide you through the services that you need. And I do that for families as well. So it might not be that you want strategy, but you want somebody to hold your hand through accessing other services through the journey. Okay, so that's another option of support. You can have therapy. So I did a session last week with some amazing therapists in a group called Trauma Thrivers, and they will help people get really underneath the root cause of what is going on for an individual if they can't make any changes. So this is really, really useful for people that are using substances, because it gets underneath what the reason, the reasons for that, and helps them work through that, because the substance use is just a symptom of what's usually going on underneath, which is often some traumatic events. So think about that. And for family members as well, if I uncover anything with my clients that I feel needs a therapeutic intervention, then I will refer into the people that I know for that ongoing support to get some of that deeper work done. There's family therapy where you can get support for whole families. There's counselling where, people can go to counselling and work with a specialised addictions counsellor. Amazing. There are alternative therapies like hypnotherapy. And my friend Thomas McGowan is a hypnotherapist. So he works with people in addiction with using hypnotherapy. Fabulous. For children, there is, loss counselling, because sometimes if a parent's using substances, for example, or a sibling, they may feel a loss because their parent isn't present with them. So it might be that they need something around that. It might be that play therapy may help. The local authority may have services for children, and I know that because I worked in one. So there might be something in your local authority. There's also CAMS, etc., that can help with mental health. And for your loved one, obviously, this is another story for another day, but there are all sorts of pathways to recovery. There's AA, NACA, all the 12-step models. There is smart recovery, again, for the people using substances. There are local drug and alcohol services. They may have a wait list. They do phenomenal work in these services, but their numbers are extremely high. But go and find out what they do. See if your loved one can access it, because as a family member, it's great to understand what the options are. So when your loved one is ready to get that support, you can support them to get that access to service. There's rehabs, there's day hab. I've got a shout out to Help Me Stop, who are my wonderful partners and who I refer clients into when their loved ones are ready. Fantastic organisation. And also other private practitioners that do all sorts of things as well. So in conclusion, there are many, many pathways to recovery. Keep an open mind. Think about what you want and what you need. So is it that you want to kind of talk through things, get underneath what's going on for you? It might be that you want to go and see a therapist. Think about what you need. Do you want to get your loved one into treatment? Do you want to learn strategies to reduce the conflict in the home? Come to me for that. Come to me to work towards supporting your loved one to access treatment and to change things for your entire family, because I will hold your hand and guide you through that practical process. And I do emotional support as well. It's not just about the practicalities. Think about whether you can afford to pay or not. That's massive. Don't come to me if you're, you've got absolutely no funds to pay, because you can access some of these other services. Yeah, it might be groups, but they're brilliant. You're going to get support through them. So if you can't pay, don't put yourself out of pocket. Go and access some of this other support. But I'm not saying don't contact me. Drop me a message and I'll point you in the right direction. Think about whether you want to focus in the past or whether you want to focus in the future. Think about whether all you need is some peer support or some company from others, because it might be that you've got a local group, or you might want to go to one of the face-to-face groups now that we're opening up a little bit again. Do you want to just go on a Facebook group and have a chat, or a forum? Go on AdFams forum. People get their needs met through different ways. Not everybody's the same. Or do you want individual support to change? Do you want that tailored package? In which case you want to go to a private service. All right, so gone over time a little bit, but please head over and get your freebie, vestaapproach.co.uk/freebie. And I will speak to you next week where we're talking about recovery language. So I'll see you later. Bye.